Namaste, my good friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and I help people navigate through their ascension process. And today I'm going to do a second post-eclipse update. Now that some of the benefits are starting to present themselves and be more grounded and established within our being and life, I think it would be fun to kind of talk about that. For a while, my reports had to do with sort of guiding people through it, because I know that these big shifts, though positive, can be very trying and challenging in many different ways, physically, emotionally, life situationally. It can be real chaotic as we change quickly. But the results of the change, even though albeit maybe is a bit stressful, are quite profound. And today I'm going to talk about the benefits that you might now be experiencing as a result of riding out this shift. Number one is a much faster rate of manifestation. More dream-like, really coincidental, surprising, like, oh my goodness, really? This is happening? Those types of synchronous types of manifestations are now happening more and more. I'm noticing this with myself. I noticed it during the shift as well, during the eclipse, but it was happening in parallel to many other challenging aspects that it was maybe I was unable to really enjoy it as much, you could say. But I'm also noticing this with just clients, people I'm working with. They're really reporting to me some very interesting occurrences. And usually when this happens, something with myself as well as other people I'm working with, usually when I talk about it in sort of as a collective, like a message, it tends to be happening with others as well. You can let me know. I'd be curious, honestly. So I'll give you kind of an example of what I mean. So I'm in this RV right now, and the RV is it's experiencing a lot of problems. One of them is that we're living in it, so that could be part of it, obviously, but it's just cheaply made and it's breaking down, and there are, like, I don't know, probably a list of 15 to 20 things that we have to get fixed on it, little warranty things. Some of them are bigger than others. Anyways, the place we bought this RV from it's not a very well established RV store or whatever. They're kind of, like, honestly shady to work with. They're real sketchy, they're unreliable, and they're just a real pain in the ass to work with. So we had our doubts that if we were to take this into them, that it would actually get fixed. They tend to give you the runaround, and they made a bunch of mistakes. Anyways, whatever. I'm not trying to complain, but it was something we were going to do yesterday. We were kind of dreading it, like driving it there, knowing it'd be kind of a pain in the butt. It would take all day, and we had in the back of our mind doubts that they would actually fix it. Ironically, I was sitting at Starbucks yesterday doing my thing, uploading a video for y'all, and my wife sent me a text and said, "You'll never believe, like, who's out right in front of us." We're staying at a campground with probably, I don't know, this is a rough estimate, probably a few hundred at least spots, or a few hundred spots. And just so happens the person right in front of us is having work done to their RV, and there's a big truck labeled like something like RV repair or something. And my wife went out there, and they just happened to cross paths and started talking, and the guy said, "Yeah, man, we'll do repairs right on the spot. We work with all the different brands and warranties." So essentially there was a person who was anxious to kind of work with us, that we wouldn't have to go anywhere, we wouldn't have to deal with those shady people, and it's just little stuff like that, like the chances of someone being there at the precise timing. We've had this plan to go for a few weeks now on the calendar, and just the day of, just the way it worked out was pretty, the timing was impeccable. I've noticed this with a lot of people. One of my clients, he's working on a YouTube channel, and it was really hard for him to get going with it. He had a lot of insecurity, a lot of fears. Even though I sensed there was talent in this guy, he was obviously kind of blocking it and suppressing it with all his doubt. But through the program, I pushed him, and now he's pumping out daily videos. He's doing really good on Instagram. I got a new phone not too long ago. It's like my new camera. And so I re-downloaded my Instagram account, my app. I haven't been on it in quite a while. And I was scrolling, I noticed this guy, my buddy, had some pictures. So I just was kind of looking at his Instagram account and was like, damn, this guy's doing awesome. So I sent him a little message saying, "Hey man, keep up the good work." You know, something encouraging, just really being just an honest appraisal of what I think, or the honest, like, good job I was giving him. And he was like, oh my God, dude, the timing was crazy. I just watched your video and it was on point, and I was experiencing a ton of doubt and worry about this most recent video I put out, and just the message I sent, just without really knowing anything, didn't really have any real intention, just trying to be nice. He said it came out just at the most perfect timing and totally lifted him out of that. So little things like that, just the brilliance of the timing, whether it's something small or something big, it's starting to happen more and more and more. And I believe that'll be one of the symptoms, one of the benefits that doesn't just fade away and will be dependent upon the next grand shift. I think that's our new normal. And this, of course, can work both ways. You can manifest things that you're harboring probably a little bit faster, but so too, as we become more conscious, we can start co-creating our life faster, having more brilliant experiences of perfect timing fall into our way, helping us just create the masterpiece of our life that our heart wants to do. It's now more possible, now happening faster. Number two, it's kind of two things. I believe people are having a more honest self-assessment and more of a true acceptance of who they are, where they are, and where they fit in, into the grand scheme of things, where they fit in to the particular stage of their life, and just more, again, of a real awareness leading to acceptance. And I'll give you kind of an example to explain what I'm trying to say here. So the day before the eclipse, I decided I was going to do a fast. This is something I've been doing recently, and something I've done on and off for the last several years. It's like a fairly long fast compared to, to some of you, I would imagine. It's over a day. It's like 42 or 3 hours roughly, where I stop eating at dinner time, and then I don't eat the whole next day, and then I try to hold off my lunch into that following day as far as possible. Anyways, I thought it'd be kind of neat to do this for the eclipse. I put all this I sensed it was a significant event, and I just decided to do it. But the way I chose to do it without really thinking it through that much. So I got about halfway into the fast, and I realized that, you know what, I just didn't really eat enough the recent couple of days. So I was feeling really kind of like lethargic and irritable, and it was just like, I felt like I just didn't want to be doing it. Like it was a stupid decision, but I had already gotten kind of far. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock. Like, dude, you've already made it past your lunchtime. You could just if you can ride it out a few more hours, you can just go to bed and have succeeded, right? But as the night wore on, it became clear to me that there was a lot of inner struggle going on. It wasn't just my mind being weak, I'm just kind of, because sometimes it happens. Your mind will play games with you, like, oh, eat some food, it's okay, and justify it. I was really trying to debate if that was what was happening. Was I just kind of wussing out, essentially? Or was this not, at this particular time, was it maybe not the wisest decision? Because I was feeling really tired and irritable, and it was a Sunday, I believe. So Sunday is usually one of our family days, and I was being kind of short with my children, and I just didn't really want to hang out with them because I was in such a funk. And then I started thinking why are you doing this? What is the motive of you doing this? Do you want to be some sort of spiritual guy on the eclipse? Is that it? You have some kind of ego? You're on some kind of ego trip about this stupid eclipse? Or what is it? Are you trying to... I don't know. Anyways, I started to realize that my motives for doing that were not really authentic. That what I actually really wanted to do, my actual highest joy, was to eat, for one, be in a good mood, and enjoy the tail end of my family Sunday. And we had just gotten this new service on our computer that allows us to watch the Game of Thrones, one of my favorite shows. So once I decided to eat, it was not only that I feel better for the obvious reasons that I was eating, and I kind of got what I was wanting in a sense. It was a total shift in my vibration and my frequency. On one hand, the fasting for the eclipse, on paper, any way you want to look at it, seems like the more spiritual thing to do. Seems like the higher vibrational thing to do. But it was actually out of alignment with what I really wanted, with where I really was at. What I really wanted to do was hang out with my family and then later at night watch Game of Thrones with my wife and freaking eat a nice healthy massive dinner. That was what I really wanted to do, and that's what I did. And it was almost like I could feel the energy shift within myself and within my life. It was like I shifted frequencies because I was mentally blocking myself based on a distorted perception of what I thought I wanted. I was insisting on going one way when that was not truly in alignment with where I was actually at in my life. So I thank the energies for giving me that degree of clarity, because I know how many times I have pursued things from a place of inauthenticity and just, again, a distorted perception of what I wanted, just a genuine not really knowing clearly what I want. But once you really do know what you do want, and you can accept where you are, then there is no need for anything. I didn't have to add something to myself with this fast and being extra spiritual during the eclipse. I just had to be myself and live my life, and that's perfect. That was the more spiritual thing to do. Anyways, I've been having more clarity like that, and consequently, I believe, more acceptance of myself and what I really want in that day, in that moment in my life. 3, finally, I feel like we're starting to kind of ground all of this and assimilate and relax, and things are finally starting to kind of settle in and seem like they're returning to some semblance of normalcy. Now, for me, I'm experiencing this. Many of the people I'm speaking with are as well, but for me personally, it took effort. It wasn't something that has happened naturally. As I mentioned in a couple videos ago, I mentioned how uptight, how tired, how like frazzled I felt from all the energy associated with that eclipse. And it took me being very proactive to kind of healing myself in a sense. So one of the things I started to do was to just take back control and refuse to feel so battered around by the what felt like unstable energies. I refused to allow that to put off my plan, so I kind of forced myself to be productive again. Another thing that was real beneficial to me is because, again, I felt so agitated, so uptight, so like just such tension in my body, my mind. My thoughts were very racy pretty much the whole eclipse, and then even afterwards. I just got sick of it. I was like, man, you're not naturally coming back into balance. Maybe you should do something. So what kind of happened simultaneously was the thing I mentioned with just deciding to be productive regardless of how I felt. That was a big thing. And then that night I followed that up with a meditating before bed. And that night I slept so amazingly well, whereas the whole time leading up to that eclipse, I felt like I could not sleep enough. There was just so much going on in my body and in my life, literally out there. Like, I was busy, but had just so many things coming up, and I just felt so stimulated that I was, even though I was going to bed at a normal time, I was not sleeping restfully. But that little 10-minute mantra meditation before bed, I slept so soundly. And I've been meditating a lot more ever since. I've been meditating more. I've been eating more calories to try to ground myself. And I've been insisting on being productive. And after a few days of doing that, I feel more balanced, more grounded, and again, less affected by those energies. So again, for me, it took a little bit of proactivity. Other people I'm finding are balancing out naturally. So if you're not like one of those people, maybe you're like me and you got to do something, I'd recommend doing anything that I suggested that worked for me, or something that you feel would work for you. Exercise, eating healthy, meditation, getting a good night's sleep. Simple, obvious, basic, it's a little R&R basically. I believe the potential, anyway, to be more balanced and more grounded is finally present. But you might have to do a little work. Number 4, So you might still feel like things are a bit on hold. I feel that way myself. Like even though I'm making headway and beginning the earlier stages of becoming more balanced and again feeling like things are back to normal, I still feel like the energy is not really flowing forward just yet. And that could very well be due to the retrogrades we have going on right now. And I suspect, I haven't really thought much into September at all. Again, I don't really look ahead at what people are saying about the astrology. I more feel in the moment. That's why a lot of my updates come like 3 or 4 days after being in the month, so I can feel it for myself, and then I'll talk about it. But I have a subtle sense that September is going to be where we'll feel a lot more like we're living life from the perspective of one who's gained a tremendous amount of insight and wisdom from this month of August, and now we can finally put it into a more productive, proactive, practical, 3 P's there, just forward movement, forward action, and in a more nuts and bolts kind of way. But anyway, so you might still feel a little bit like on hold, a little bit like really going forward in a way you want, might not feel quite supported. So that's okay, man. Again, these types of shifts, they really do take time to integrate, and I've learned to really just do my best to let go and trust the timing. Oftentimes I decide or I become aware of something I want in life, and then I go for it, but maybe the time is more ideal for me to continue to reflect or to get myself healthy or to just wait for more to be revealed, because at a later date or a later time it'll be much more conducive to that forward movement. And I've learned to kind of pay attention to just the reaction and responses I get when I try certain things. And I know that when things are really feeling stuck and not flowing, then a lot of the time, some of the time it's us blocking ourselves, but also a lot of the time it's the timing is not ideal. Our higher self has a much broader perspective on our life, and it knows what we want truly better than we know, and it knows awesome ways to have us get it. But a lot of us actually having it happen in that miraculous way is dependent upon our ability to let go and allow it to kind of guide us. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of make mention of that. You might still feel a little bit on hold, but that's okay. Just kind of be patient, chill, continue to learn whatever lessons are presenting themselves, try to ground yourself, and just trust that the timing will present itself to you when it's right. Lastly, perhaps the most rewarding benefit to this shift we've gone through is a deeper and more experiential recognition of our power. I think on one hand you could simply define this shift as us becoming more of an embodiment of our true selves. But I think one of the real distinguishable traits of our real selves that will become really satisfying to us, for us to experience and recognize, is how powerful we are. Not in some kind of like domineering sort of way, but just how much power we possess naturally to create our awesome life, even in this wild, dense realm of Earth. And this recognition of our power can be experienced in many different ways. I'm working with a girl right now, I'm working with her a while, and I'm watching her go through what I would label as like a climax of sorts, where her life is just breaking apart big time, faster and more obviously than ever. She's really just forced to be kind of wallowing in the unknown. And yet she's becoming so tuned in and tapped in and spiritual, and as her life kind of is a tornado around her, she's finding and amazed that she's become the calm within the storm, that even though life is more chaotic than ever, she's at peace inside. And so that's one way you can recognize power. I found this to be the case for myself when I had my big breakdown a couple of years ago that eventually resulted in me moving to San Diego. The whole time I was selling my house and closing down gyms and financially stressed, and while parallel to that I was becoming more like tuned in. It was all kind of I was really impressed with myself at how I was able to finally exemplify the spiritual beliefs that I said I believed in. Like, okay, now it's time to actually have faith, Victor. You have to. And I was able to. So that's one way you can experience it. Someone else I'm working with, one of the big things that she's wanted in her life was to meet like-minded people, which is not easy. I mean, you guys know that. It's not easy. You don't run into a lot of like-minded people. And she didn't really want to have to step outside of her comfort zone all that much. But I encouraged her. I said, listen, we'll do some manifestation techniques and stuff, and that's great, and I encourage it because it works, but you got to get out there. You got to like go do stuff. So she ended up going to this cool like Native American ceremony, and she met someone. She met someone that she clicked with beautifully, and they really just had like a resonance, and they were both aware of the awakening, and it was just a real profound experience for her. And in fact, there was a time where she was going to like put her on her Facebook or get her contact numbers or something, and there was like 1111 at that time, and it was just like it was really a message from her higher self, from herself, that says, you did that. You were sitting lonely at one point, and now you've kind of busted out of your comfort zone and cocoon to an extent. You put yourself out there, you've implemented your manifestation powers, and here you go. You got it. Now what do you want? What's next? Because you can do this kind of thing. So that's one way. It's just like an impressive manifestation where you really wanted something that maybe it seemed at one point unlikely for you, and all of a sudden there it is in a synchronous way, just so to really hammer home the fact that you attracted that into your life. So anyways, I'm at a loss for words now. Believe it or not, those are 5 things, 5 benefits that I believe there's at least a very high potential of experiencing. You might not all be going through that right now. I'm having a good day now. Tomorrow could be different. But I think it'll become more, those kind of benefits will start to kind of sneak up on you. Some of them might take a little bit of you, a little effort on your part, but it's certainly worth striving for. So again, the whole theme of this video, I'd say it's not so much time to hang on for dear life and ride out the storm. Now it's time to kind of take back control and get your bearings up, get your bearings right, and go out there and use what you learn to just continue to expand yourself and your life in the way that seems most exciting and fun and enjoyable to you. Have an amazing day. I will see you guys soon. Thank you guys for everything. The support you guys have shown me is just amazing to me. The appreciation you guys have for me is just so heartwarming, and I wish I could express how much I appreciate you, because I do. Again, we're in this thing together. We are really riding the same wave, and this is the part I play. You all have a part to play as well, and I'm sure you're playing it beautifully, even if that's to just go through your own shift right now. We're all playing a massive part. By you transforming yourself, you're paving the way. You're the one pressing on the boundaries, and as you do that, you make room. So other people down the line aren't going to have to press so hard. There'll be a path carved out for them by you. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. I digress. Have an amazing day. Namaste. Hey guys, real quick, this just happened a second ago. I thought it'd be fun to share with you kind of an example of like the trippy type of synchronicities that are starting to kind of happen more, be more commonplace now. I just had one. So I just got done shooting this video, right? 2 seconds ago. I was kind of scanning through it. And sometimes when I get my own little synchronicity individual to me to kind of let me know that, yes, this is the video to put out today. Sometimes, usually when I'm editing it or scrolling through it, I'll happen to look down and see like it's at 3:21 or 11:11 or 12:12, something like that. Anyways, I was scanning through it real quick. Sometimes I'll do that just to make sure like the sound was right. Sometimes things mess up and I have to redo it. So I was scanning through it, And, you know, I just kind of on my phone with my little finger, it's like a 20-minute video, this last little section anyway. And I just kind of like did like a swipe like on an iPhone, and it just stopped right at 11:11. And I noticed that, like, I thought, oh, that was interesting. I swiped it a little further to just kind of, again, to make sure it was good. And then in the video, I happened to say 11:11 in the video, like as I shot it. So I got an 11:11 number, and then I swiped it again, and then I was saying 11:11, and I was like, oh, damn, that was pretty crazy. Anyways, that might not be very meaningful to you, but it was kind of neat for me. Just an example of what I was talking about. I thought it'd be fun to share, being that it just happened. Anyways, I'm out of here for real now. I gotta go. Have an amazing day. Peace.